Hi there. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings Thursday. I look like a ghost. I could be. Maybe I'm AI. It is the second day of 2025 as I speak to you. And the one light in the front is not working for me like I hoped. But you can see the pictures better. Christari is the first to say, hello. And how are you, Christari? Followed very quickly by the Aussie herself, Aisha Acevedo. Hello. Hi, Aisha and Nancy DeMarco. Well, hello, Jack. Hi. How you doing, Nancy? Always enjoy your emails. She keeps me informed. She does, Nancy. There's things I miss because I don't belong to any of the Bob Joyce groups, per se. I usually find the moderators in the groups to be a little, how you say in America. No, I won't say that. um, well, I could say annoying. But then again, I also know since I have to deal with trolls on occasion that you have to take action sometimes. So I get that part of it too. I'm in a conundrum. Um, David Howard, hello, happy New Year. Hi, David. I think you're new to our live stream. Where are you from? Where are you watching me from right now? Nice to have you here. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. We do this on Saturday nights at 10 p.m., but sometimes we do a Wednesday or a Thursday. In this case, since we popped on New Year's Eve, I thought it best to wait to Thursday night at 10 o'clock to do our midweek worldwide ramblings, which we usually do. Nothing's etched in stone. I try to promo worldwide ramblings in advance on most occasions, so people know when we pop on to pop off. That can be at any time. Something's going on. It's burning in my soul, and I have to talk about it. And I try to also find people that, can't watch at 10 o'clock East Coast time because that's very early in the morning, for example, in the UK. How are you, Karen Phillips? Nice to have you here. Deborah Lake as well. Belinda Taylor. Good evening, Jack. Good evening, Belinda. And the Go-Go's. I'm turning you into Belinda Carlisle now, right? Cindy in South Louisiana. Hello, Jack and family. Welcome. Aisha is letting us know that Shelley is here. The campaign chairman for President Trump, but in the country of Canada, soon to be our 51st state. Well, isn't that nice? Susie Young, Susie Q. Welcome back. Been a while since we've talked to you. Hello, Jack. Hi. Christari is talking about meeting up with Nancy DeMarco in Benton. Why would anybody go to Benton? What's the attraction there? Sarah Farrell, wife of Mike Farrell. Or is that Farrell? It's Farrell, right? The actor from MASH. Marty Greco is joining us as well. Hello, Jack and everyone. Fort Worth, Texas. Well, that's an American city, isn't it? In the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. What else do you have there? Irving, right? Yeah, I've been to Irving. I've been through Dallas. That building still lit up in green in Dallas. At night, you can see it. Abby Larson, it's been a while. How was your Christmas? Very quiet. My son is in um, Texas. I think my daughter was visiting in Texas as well. Um, but It was nice. Thankful for the blessings we have. Jive and Joe, we're getting new people on a Thursday night. Hey, wanted to pop on before I go to bed to say I hope all have a great new year. Well, thank you, Jive and Joe. I wonder where you're watching from. Always get a kick out of that, you know? And here is Shelley with lots of waves. She likes to make waves, you know. I noticed that about Shelley. I blog, therefore I am. Evening, everyone. Evening. David Howard, it's been kind of an off and on and off cold situation where David is, huh? Yeah, same here. Exactly. You just, excuse me, you just described the weather in uh, the Hudson Valley of New York. I think that's where I am. One of these days, I'll be a silver alert, you know, and with an orange car, not too hard to find, you know. I wasn't thinking about that, you know, being a part time serial killer. Why did I buy an orange car? That was a joke, if anyone is watching. I just like those serial killer shows like Dexter Original Sin playing now on Showtime slash Paramount Plus. Jive and Joe, I'm not new, Jack. I changed my name. I'm Joseph Kelly from Alabama. Okay, but now you want to be a hipster, eh? I see. Yeah, that would throw me off for sure. All right, if you want to be Jive and Joe, I wish I could play Jive Talking by the Bee Gees for you, but I can't. Sandra Fair, and she always is. She's always fair. Hi, Jack and everyone. Hello. Lady Likes Humor, welcome back. Hi there, Jack. And Seven Swicks, Happy New Year from, I don't know this place in Texas. And Lord knows my son who delivers to many restaurants, hospitals, prisons for U.S. foods. He tells me about these various towns. You know, I know about Dripping Springs. Are you anywhere near Dripping Springs? Are you anywhere near Austin, or are you in another part of the state? Seguin, Texas? Seguin? Seven Swicks. What's a Swick? What's a Swick? By the way, our title, don't want to get too far in and not mention, is telling the Bob Joyce story is not a game of 52 cards pickup or 52 card pickup, I think it was called, right? Anyone ever play that? What is the point of that game? I mean, I may have played it once or twice. You take 52 cards and just fling them around the room you're in, right? What's the objective of that? Whoever gets the most cards. I just answered it myself. If you get the most cards, you win 52 card pickup. Isn't that exciting stuff? Gail George from outside Nashville, Tennessee. Don't be looking for her in downtown Tennessee. She won't be there unless she's, you know, partying down at a honky tonk place. Of course, there's a lot more music than a honky tonk. The old joke used to be, hey, we got both kinds of music here. We got country and Western. Country and Western. Yeah, we got both kinds. But it's getting hard to find sometimes. You know, I told you, I think probably on last Saturday's Worldwide Ramblings that I heard this soulful song, which sounded to me like something I would have heard from Teddy Pendergrass or Luther Vandross, God rest his soul. And then at the end of it, the announcer says that was Chris Stapleton. Really? It didn't sound like country to me. You know, I got to have some steel pedal once in a while. It doesn't have to be in every song, but I got to have this steel pedal guitar. Hold on a second. I think I'm tired of being washed out here. That's better. Hello, Miss Carter, sister of Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Welcome. Brenda Noyce. Hello, Jack and all. How are you? And so Seven Swicks. Oh, yes, near New Brunswick. Well, and there you go. I've been there. What's that outside restaurant there, right in your little downtown area? I ate there with my son and his fiance, my son Corey. And I know that every year the Polka King, who lives about 7 miles from me, is getting ready to do his January cruise. And our friends Sean and Norma are going on there. He said to him, maybe you could sneak me in a big duffel bag. He says, well, just to warn you, I'm not going to be poking holes in a brand new duffel bag. No, you just leave the zipper open a little bit and then I'll have like a straw. I'll get my air that way. He'll drop me down a flight of stairs. I don't think we can make that happen. No, they know me too well. The Jimmy Sturr and his lady and the rest of the crew, they would know right away that I hadn't paid for that cruise. And then if passports were asked for, I know gots. I know gots. I know gots. So, what's life like there in Seven Swicks? All right, yeah, you already told me it's near New Braunfels, and as I say, Jimmy Sturr plays there at the Worst Fest every November. He's done it years and years, and he was there this past year. I've never seen him there. I've seen him in concert many times, as far out as Port St. Lucie, Florida. But I, see more of his local gigs, and always try to get to ones that are further out. Further out. Hi, Todd Bradshaw. Good evening and Happy New Year. Hello, Jack. Hello, Todd Bradshaw. Nice to have you aboard, as is Jody Smith. I just got off work. Yes, we have to remember Jody is a working woman. And so she's taking what they're given because she's working for a living. Forget what you do. You may have never told me. I don't know. Faith Lloyd. Hi, Jack, and everyone from WKRP in Cincinnati. Welcome, 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 our affiliate there. Yeah, I don't have a lot of Cincinnati people that I know of. There's certain places that I hear from, and there's certain places like, I just don't hear from. Have heard from South and North Dakota. Have finally heard from Maine. We have that's Terry, right? Terry lives up in Maine. And, but there's certain states we still haven't heard from. Trying to think of one right now. We have heard from Wisconsin. We have. I think we finally heard from Minneapolis. Yeah. Iowa. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Oh, I bet it's cold in Iowa right now. I bet it's cold in South Dakota right now. After Governor Christy Nome did all these commercials saying, come on down to the free state of South Dakota. We've got plenty of high paying jobs for you. Well, she's getting heck out. If all goes well, she'll be in President Trump's cabinet. I don't mean a literal cabinet, where you would put a TV on top or something, but the presidential cabinet. I'm in Batavia too. Batavia. When you hear a word like Batavia, you think horse racing, right? Horse racing. Batavia Downs, right? Am I in the right locale, or am I thinking of another Batavia? So we've got 56 watching and 12 likes that I know of. Yes, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. So when I say the Bob Joyce story is not a game of 52 card pickup, I mean, well, first of all, my experience was discovering the topic in early January of 2016. So we're going into our seventh year now of talking about this topic, which continues to in some occasions write itself. Um, it produces its own material. It's like there's certain things you can say, and the jokes write themselves. I thought that I saw Mary Tyler Moore on an early David Letterman telling a joke, and it was kind of weird because it was Mary Tyler Moore. You know, we always consider her to be so wholesome. She was saying that she knew of this actor that was trying to break into the business, and he went for his interview, potential part in a movie. You know, potential part in a movie, and so the executive producer says, "What's your name?" And the actor said, um, "I'm going to forget the." Um, yeah, it's pretty on the edge. But Mary Tyler Moore said it. My name is Penis Von Lesbian. Penis Von Lesbian. And the executive producer said, "What? Oh, you're going to have to change that name. You're going to have to change that name. Let me think. Oh, Dick Van Dyke. Think about it. Think about it." So, anyway, what I'm saying is that I started telling the story since it was new to me from the beginning, going to current times, bringing myself up to speed as I told the best way I could the chronological story. And as times went on, and I developed some sources, I began to change what I had perceived, uh, learned so many new things, and had to add to the chronological story and what have you. And I was always clear, of course, to say, as you guys know, I'm speaking of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing. So, what I noticed is prevalent today is kind of coming in and just putting up whatever you think is going to get you hits. And I understand the need to get hits. Trust me, I do. It's all about the as Candace Owens, one of my heroes. I don't always agree with her. I don't agree with her about funding. Wait a minute. Don't confuse the issues. Is she pro funding the war in Ukraine, or isn't she? There's a few things I know I don't agree with Candace on, um, but for the most part, like her very much and agree with her most of the time. And so, why did I say that? Why did I bring up Candace Owens? Um, I have no idea. But the point is there's got to be a cohesiveness, because if you just, if it's like you take a bunch of paints and throw them at the canvas, well, it could turn out to be something interesting, but it's not doing justice to what is probably, in my view, the most important entertainment story not told by the mainstream media, the most amazing one I've ever seen. Even if we are wrong in our conclusions, it's still an amazing story because of all the so-called coincidences, how things have been laid out and what have you. There's no story. There's no he faked his death or she faked his death that has, dozens and dozens and dozens of things to point to. you run out of material pretty quick. So, so I've noticed now it's all about um, getting hits, and if you're putting up other people's work with your name on it, that's it's fine to use fair use excerpts of people's work. That's allowed. That's allowed because this is really kind of a news story, isn't it? It's not just an entertainment story, it's a news story. But when you're all over the board, um, I mean, my goodness, we have a new person doing the topic now. Donald Duck. Donald Duck. I thought Donald Duck only did the JFK faked his death story. Donald Duck is now doing Bob Joyce. Huh. Imagine that. Hi, Greg Hines. I know you're here because Nancy DeMarco says so. Ted Richards. Hello, all. Just sitting down with my Asian orange chicken dinner. So we'll be listening. Of course. You're like a Leon in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Leon and his family moved in during tough times. Larry let them move into his mansion. His wife had left him, so he kind of had empty nest syndrome, and this family was in need. So he let this family move in with him. But then things start to get better for him. And so Larry looks to Leon, who's holding a bag of food, and he says, "So, Leon, in other words, are you going to be moving out too now?" He says, "Well, I know where I'll be. I'll be in my room eating my Chinese food." Leon was there to stay. JB Smoove, right? Yeah, funny guy, just a funny guy. And they always took it to the absurdity in the topics, always took it to the absurdity. It's to the point that people don't even want to entertain that he could still be alive. Those people wouldn't even believe if he was to come out with him or somebody else with 100% proof that he who is who we think he is. So first of all, you have to differentiate between the Elvis protectors who are just throwing shade at you and those who legitimately think we're nuts. And I don't mind them thinking we're nuts. That could work for the goal to say have a pastor do what he's doing exactly the way he wants to do it, and the Holy Spirit could even be in that, and I think would be. So you know, I when I put up a video, like I just put up the 5 more compelling reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. Obviously, that goes way outside the audience that would join me here. It goes into people that may have never heard me before or have heard me before and never like me. And they become hostile, and they think they're making great points, and they're saying, someday I'm going to have to do a video on the top things people are likely to say. It's kind of like when the guy Tom Wilson, who played Biff in Back to the Future, did a whole song covering all the questions he gets asked over and over and over again. Maybe I could learn to play guitar and do it that way. It probably if I did it pre-recorded, they probably wouldn't cut it out. If I do it in real time, they'll think I'm doing someone else's song. But there's these points that come over and over again. He's not 89. He's not old enough. Elvis would be like 89, they say, or going on 90, and he's not old enough. So, we've covered all that. We've had many people from various parts of the world visit Household of Faith. Some of them happen to be healthcare professionals who deal with the elderly hands on. They lift them out of bed and what have you, and get them dressed. And they know what an old person feels like. And they always want a hug from Pastor Bob Joyce, and so many have said, yeah, he does feel elderly, and you can look at certain pictures and what have you. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. Remember, Dick Van Dyke is 99 and he still looks like Dick Van Dyke. Some people just have that kind of gene. He's got a cane now that he uses. He was driving till a year ago. I don't think he's driving anymore now, but he was driving a very fancy sports car about a year ago. So, he's just beat all the odds and has very good genes. Well, you can say that neither Vernon or his wife lived to an old age, but it's all in God's plan how long you're going to live. And then there's your lifestyle choices. Apparently, you might live longer if you don't live on Pepsi Cola and pizza and crumb buns. I know there's some crumb buns out there, though, believe me, and they show up in these videos that I think we got 5,500 views now on the 5 compelling reasons. I'm going to go to analytics and I'll give you a rundown. So this is also a channel update, which is all Bob Joyce. What do you think? My homage to Rush is in the top 10? It's not. But I'm always thankful for people that watch that, because that's some of my best work, I think, with the potential to be a lot better. And it's very important to me too. So when people say, stop milking this topic, well, you will notice many attempts when I talk about other things, but I have to be cognizant of what my audience likes. And we try to say many positive things about Pastor Bob Joyce and Household of Faith. And as I said about a week ago, I don't want to put his name in the title every week. What does that translate to? That translates to lower revenue coming in, lower views, core audience of maybe 300 or so. But I put Bob Joyce in the title and I've got something good to say. Then we go to 1K, 2K, 3K. Heck, when we talked about the Memphis Mafia and a live show, I think that's up to 28K for a live show. That's really, really good. That's really, really good, you know? And I'm not even riding a bicycle during my live broadcast. That could be dangerous. That could be dangerous. Um, 3 months of winter left. Oh, that's so encouraging, Brenda. Yeah, the whole 3 months is still left, basically. December 21st is the first official day, but we don't look at it that way. But winter is different because summer we measure from Memorial Day to Labor Day, you know. Heck, the first day of summer is really June 21st, not not May 27th or whatever Labor Day happens to fall on. So, but that's how we measure it. Jackie Organ. Hi, Jackie. Where are you from? I don't remember your name. I don't know if I've ever known anyone whose last name was Organ, if I'm saying that right. I'm doing this without my specs. Barbara Kendall. Hi, Jack. Hi, BK. She's here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. See, we're a family here. Deborah Lake is asking about Brenda's arm. And okay, here you are. I see it now, Jackie. Happy New Year, Jack. I'm watching from Australia, just like Aisha Acevedo. Maybe you guys, could go to dinner. How big can Australia be? What, 60 miles? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. But we get a good 7 or 8 people from time to time from Australia. Isn't that interesting? Well, it's a good time. It's in the afternoon there, right? So, Yeah, I hate when I miss someone. Ted says he's eating his Asian orange chicken. Sounds delicious, but then again, I don't know if you have a good Chinese restaurant there or not. Right here in the city I live in, we got some good ones and we got some lousy ones, and people know which is which. I mean, if you can go in and it smells like they've never changed their oil, where they cook the egg rolls and stuff like that. I know they're putting fresh oil on the wok when they cook, but if you can smell that, that's a sign that you're in a bad place. Um, I also remember the people that became like Nazi dictators during COVID, little slots that they would put the food out. I understood taking some precautions. You'd go in, they didn't want you to sit down. They took the chairs away and what have you. Okay. Um, and then they'd have plastic separating you from them. I understood that. But, the places where in the winter you got people standing out waiting for their Chinese in 10 degrees. Um, as the British would say, piss off. I'm not coming to you when things clear up. No, you're being overly. In fact, I got to tell you about a comedy special that if you have Tubi, and why wouldn't you? Because Tubi is free. You're going to want to watch this. You're going to want to watch this. I'll tell you in a minute. But well, talking about a long way, Carmen Sylvia from New Zealand is here, and she's talking to Tedward. Tedward, he's got a mouthful of Chinese food, but he can still type. Yeah. But I love my Chinese food too. I don't know. Have I had orange chicken? I've had pineapple chicken. It's been a while. So, how are things in Australia, Jackie? What part do you live in? We've heard from Perth. We've heard from, I'll forget all the places in Australia. It's Sydney. We've heard from wherever. I'm always thrilled because, for years if you want to go into the 70s and 80s, I was a local DJ in this city here in the Hudson Valley, also in Monticello, New York, outside of Monticello, really, up in Kingston, New York. Kingston was a 14-station contemporary Christian music network, so that was a bigger voice. We got into about 8 states, but certainly the beginnings of my radio career in Fredonia, New York in 77. And then here at WALL in Middletown, 1980. I broke ties with them in '88. Um, for the first few years, there was no internet, so it was just you got what you got, reaching out maybe 40 miles, and that was that was your audience. So it's really cool now in my later years. My fourth quarter, which I hope, I'm hoping for overtime. Um, it's nice to hear from people in various parts of the world. We've heard from Cape Town, South Africa. We've heard certainly from Wales. There's my buddy in Wales who lives right where Tom Jones was raised. And there's a number of people in Wales, actually. And, of course, Canada, and, of course, um, New Zealand, and places I'm forgetting right now. Belgium, yep. Told them to send me some Belgium chocolate. Haven't gotten it yet. Katina Swatsworth, Team SWAT. Hi, Jack and everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year, Katina. Happy New Year to everybody here. So we're doing a little bit of a study on the Bob Joyce topic in general, because it is not a game of a 52 card pickup, but people are free to do that, but that indicates that it's all about views. And to me, the story is so fascinating that you want to tell it somewhat chronologically, but that means you have to be able to do that. You have to have, broadcast talent and what have you. And, there are people that are good at one thing and not good at another thing. Like, obviously, people run circles around me with their tech skills, their tech skills. But just like I came to the realization that because I found this hot topic called Pastor Bob Joyce, is he Elvis? Just because I found that, that doesn't mean other stuff that I do is going to be successful. So if you were doing something before you found the golden ticket, the goose that laid the golden egg, you are probably now surprised that it hasn't done much for your earlier stuff, which is good, by the way. It's good, but it doesn't have that effect. Um, People that love this topic love this topic. It's not going to be the doorway to the other stuff becoming actually successful, unfortunately. You know, there's just so much to listen to out there, especially in terms of music. There's so much stuff to listen to. Y'all, I cannot believe a terrorist attack happened only 1.5 hours away from us. So scary. That's where it is, about hour and a half. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that topic. Um, this was one guy. They thought there were bombs being planted also, and that was just people throwing their bags down because they just wanted to run away. You know, they didn't know if this was a massive terrorist attack or whatever, and they just put their bags down and ran. And people thought they were planting bombs around. Well, that turned out not to be true, thank God. But let's face it. Come on, I don't want to put down people in charge of this thing like the police chief and the mayor. If Dan Bongino had been running security in New Orleans, none of those people would be dead because he knows his arse from his elbow. Those people do not. Their excuses and their covering of their posterior makes me sick. That police chief doesn't know what she's doing. The mayor doesn't know what she's doing. My God, you could take anything from a bulldozer lined up with another bulldozer or just police cruisers, for goodness sakes, and make it so there's no way you can get down that street. Oh, we have these things that were coming. They didn't say concrete barriers, which is often used. They're hard to get away, but you use construction equipment. And you just make it so that just a slight opening where people can walk to. You could maybe get a motorcycle in there, but other than that, you're not going to get anything. So the fact that it wasn't properly blocked is the fault of the people in New Orleans that were in charge. New Orleans, I'm sorry, New Orleans that were in charge of that security. It's 100% the police chief and everybody else's fault. Her explanation made me want to puke. Not fit for the job. Not fit for the job. Didn't have to happen. Horse ass security. That's what they had. Really makes me mad, Cindy. Just their explanations, and now they're trying to sound so. Oh, these people are dead, and of course they always get the cream of the crop when something like this happens. People with bright futures and what have you. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So, yeah, I mean, New Orleans. New Orleans has a long reputation for, first of all, not paying their police officers enough. I'm sure there's some wonderful, wonderful officers in New Orleans and, ranking officers and what have you. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. But, since we tend to put people in positions these days, not because they are the best qualified person, but because of equity. And it's just not the right thing. I'm not saying there's no women that can't be a police chief. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in this particular case, when you see the white pickup truck just making a U-turn and going right down towards the people, that should never have been physically possible. Never physically possible. So that's enough of that. Um, I wouldn't go that far, Sandra, but, it's like it's just something that could have been easily avoided, even if you lined up dump trucks or something. Something pretty, you know, things that you just can't drive through. Ah, you would think it would have been explosives, going off everywhere, some way they found, or something from the buildings. You wouldn't think some guy could get a pickup truck down there. That wouldn't have happened in Times Square. But having said that, other times, New York is very vulnerable, whether it be down in the subway or even in Times Square. People have been shot and what have you. And, I obviously have no faith in our DA Bragg down there. Nope. Selective prosecution, it seems. So Jackie is saying that Aisha is about an hour and 25 minutes flight from where I live. Oh, okay, a flight. So, and so she must live near an airport. Do you live near an airport as well? See, that's the thing about going to Benton. You got to fly into Little Rock, and that's a good jaunt down the road. So you got to rent a car at the airport to get to Benton. Heck, Popcorn Sutton wanted to pick me up at the airport. When I say Popcorn Sutton, that's the name I used for someone else that used to go, I guess, to Household of Faith. I haven't heard that he's back. I haven't heard that. And I could stay at his house and everything, but he wanted me to come to an understanding that Bob Joyce was not Elvis Presley. And if I didn't, I'd be taking a Greyhound bus back to the airport. So that didn't seem like something. To be honest with you, I don't like staying in someone's house. I feel uncomfortable, and that includes my own children. I'd much rather stay in a hotel. Um, I don't want the awkwardness of it. So I love, and I try to find the cheapest hotel I can that is not, a totally, Larry's Adult Motel and Grill. Something a grade above that. And when you go on Priceline or a site like that and you book in advance, sometimes you can book last minute. Depends where you're going. Like right now, if I wanted to book Port St. Lucie, Florida, instead of booking it 8 months ago, the prices would be outrageous. But if I had booked it 8, 9 months ago, I could have found a good deal. So I guess I'm not going to Florida, and it's not in my budget anyway. I don't think it was just a coincidence that the Tesla truck just blew up on its own outside of Trump Tower. Isn't it interesting that they call it Trump Tower in Las Vegas, like Trump Tower in New York? I believe it was planned. Yeah, that's kind of still unfolding. And when two stories happen like that, there's nothing else going on in the world now, and every time you tune in, that's all they're talking about. And we miss so many stories in this environment. But the interesting thing was Elon knew exactly that the truck didn't fail from looking at the computers and stuff like that there was no problem with the technology of the Tesla truck. But the thing is that that Tesla truck, what do they call that thing? It's not the most prettiest thing you've ever seen, right? I've seen them around here every once in a while. It looks like something like they're going off to war. Um, it exploded. Now, did the driver not have a timer on there where he could say, "Okay, let me set this, and I will now leave, and I will get the hell out of here"? Um, he blows up with it. Why is that? Is that a strange kind of suicide? Because I know that there are people in radical Islam that are willing to die for the cause, and when you're willing to die for the cause, it can certainly make it hard to stop you from doing what you want to do. But when the thing exploded, it was contained in the Tesla. It didn't even blow out the gold plated windows next to it. Now, that's a good built vehicle. That's a good built vehicle. A few people slightly injured, but only the man who didn't seem to leave the truck experienced the trauma of that. I'm sure that's got to be, because he had driven around before that and then finally came up to the Trump Towers. It had to be sending a message to Trump and hoping to do damage. But those Tesla trucks there that cost a fortune and they're electric, uh, they got to be the best truck ever made if it can contain a bunch of explosives going off inside the truck and not even blow out the window right next to it. That Elon knows what he's doing. Shelley. She's saying, good point, Ted. Well, what about me? Keep your eyes off the drones that are spraying something. Oh, yes. There's been beams coming down and what have you, and that's a whole other topic. I have to say good night, rest well, and God bless. Thank you, Katina. I know you are not a night person. Belinda Taylor says that truck looks like a toaster to me. Right, but it's a toaster where the fire was inside the toaster and it didn't spread to your cabinets, Oh, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of explosives in there. You're not gonna be able to drive away after that, but, isn't it darn funny that even the window right next to it didn't blow out? That's just something. So these things will continue to happen, but we've got someone who's going to take the steering wheel pretty soon that will, along with a very good cabinet, will be able to make good things happen. I believe that. I believe that's why God put his handprint on this election, not because Donald Trump is a saint, not because he hasn't done wrong and sinned and what have you, but God has his ways. And after Trump almost got taken out in Pennsylvania at that rally, he's different now. Oh, he's still going to say the wrong things, and mean tweets are still going to be part of it from time to time. Neil Cavuto left Fox News after almost 30 years, right? And he had to say good riddance because he felt that Neil wasn't 100% behind him. And I guess that was right. So I guess Neil Cavuto just said, I can't do 4 years of Trump, so I'm going to retire now from Fox. He'll probably go to CNBC or no, he wouldn't go to MSNBC, as someone said. You don't go to Bloomberg because they don't have a big enough audience. They got the geeks. They got the real hardcore geeks that want the real hardcore financial information. If you go to Fox Business, you're only going to get so much Fox Business. You're going to get politics. You're going to get strong personalities like what's his name there at 9:00 in the morning, Stuart Varney. He's fantastic. And then you get Larry Kudlow in the afternoon and other people. So there's a mix of news and business and what have you. CNBC is more business. But if you want to state your fortune on Jim Cramer's predictions, well, may the force be with you, because that guy's been wrong more times than Joe Biden. No, that's not true. That's not possible. Julie Backus, hey Jack and gang. Oh, we're a gang. Yes, that's what they say about us. How are you, Julie? Happy New Year. Yeah, this whole thing about the drones, is we don't know what it is. That's a major statement to make. That's a major story. When we still don't know, these drones were international. And then what happens is people that are very good with AI put up stuff that just to have fun, to get a lot of views. Of course, it's all about the clicks again. And so you see this big, obviously UFO saucer opening up and letting out all the drones. I'm sure you've seen that. Did you see the one where a commercial type airliner, or mid-sized anyway, flying into one of these big flying saucers? That one was obviously fake, I think. They have much more sophisticated looking stuff than that. So there's something really going on. So we live in this really interesting time, don't we? We live in this really interesting time. 62 watching, 28 likes right now. 28 likes, and I'm happy for that. Hello, replay crowd. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell, and if you can, hit the thanks button there, which takes a while to appear. Takes a while to appear in the replay. I think eventually it gets there. So thank you for December, which is now behind us. Um, Although I struggled with getting my per thousand views, didn't have some huge video. We had a lot of ones that were doing pretty well. Let me go to analytics, and I'll tell you what the cream of the crop is. Give you an idea. Um, Hope I don't cut the live stream out. Channel analytics. First of all, the encouraging message at the beginning, looking good. Your channel got about the same number of views as usual. One way or another, we find a way to do it. Subscribers currently are at 9,623. I can tell in real time that somebody just clicked on something that we're doing or have done. Our top 10 videos right now. When I give you the count, it's just the count within the last 28 days, not the total count, but the last 10. Number 10, notice there's a name mentioned in all of these top 10. Knowing the difference between Bob Joyce and Robert Wayne Joyce. That's very important. I've been saying it since 2018 and telling the story. I believe, and I speak of possibilities, I could be wrong about the whole thing. They are two different people. And then there's those others. I have a video called Barrel Full of Bob Joyces, and we show some pictures. So you want to check that out. Number 9, Miss Willina releases Bob Joyce Church Christmas update. So the first one, knowing the difference between Bob Joyce and Robert Wayne Joyce, in the last 28 days, it's gotten 2,100 hits. Miss Willina releases the Bob Joyce Church, the Household of Faith Christmas update. That's got 2,160 views in the last 28 days. Number 8, The Curious Case of Bob Joyce, Willina, and Sigrid Schultz, or is it Schutz, as some say. Sigrid Schultz was a famous American journalist who was born in 1895. I think she did meet Elvis before she passed away, though. That's got 2,284 views in the last 28 days. Number 7, the Elvis and Bob Joyce story grows as 2024 nears the end. 2,400, almost 2,500 views. Here's one that has, I think it's got a total of, 115,000 views or more. Who Preached Lisa Marie's Private Funeral? That's the verdict part 2. In 2,486 in the last 28 days. Number 5, Elvis interrupts Bob Joyce after tribute. That's roll-in video there, as we hear Bob do a little Elvis impersonation after between songs, and that's got 2,513 views. Number 4, don't be quick to accept the nonsense from the Bob Joyce is not Elvis crowd. Number 4, yeah, 3,258. My most popular video that has been in the top 10 for well over a year now is The Verdict with, I think it's, what is it? 128,000, something like that, which is good for me. I'm a little fish in a big pond. The Verdict is Bob Joyce Elvis, 4,697 in the last 28 days. Number 2, Bob Joyce may be Elvis, 5 more compelling reasons. We just put that video out and it jumped up to the number 2 position at 5,486 views in the last 28 days. And the number 1 video in our current analytics right now is the new song from Elvis, his pledge to Lisa Marie at 9,337 views. So thank you, thank you. And a lot of people outside our family are watching this as well. Some of them hit the subscribe button and some of them don't. Some of them don't. So that was very, very nice. And also going to my channel here. We see that we are live right now. The Bob Joyce story is not a game of 52 cards pickup. Yes, I mean, you can do it any way you want to. Obviously, I'm not in charge of your channel, but it's a serious topic. And laying it out chronologically really helps not confuse people. And doing these, what they call shorts here at YouTube with, all these maybes, could be's, and what have you, people after a while start to realize that it's the all filler, no thriller that they're watching. So, when we don't put Bob Joyce in the title, like Happy New Year, Tragedy in New Orleans, were we prepared? That's only got 295 views. Our live shows, I'm not looking at the live shows right now, but one of them popped into this part of the channel. Let's Go Crazy. That's part 2 of our Happy New Year from New Year's Eve, 361 views. But then you go right into responding to the Bob Joyce trolls and EP protectors, and it's got 5,600 views. So there you go. There you go. And there's some of the shorts that we've done live in Greenwood Lake, live in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania with Eddie Guy and the Jimmy Sturr Orchestra, live in Warwick, New York, live in the seafood department of Price Chopper, and live from my front porch. Well, it's Karen's front porch. Let's just be real. So there you go. Back we are to the live stream. And I can see you again. Pastor Bob bobblehead doll. Yeah, I showed that. Did I roll that in or not? I can't remember. Miss Walina waited for the appropriate time after the sermon to put the bobblehead up on the piano, and he thought that was very amusing. By the way, I did cover up the vent tonight because Brad is having a hard time getting to sleep. I can tell. He goes to bed very early and gets up at like 5:30 in the morning. Sometimes he doesn't leave the house till after 8, but he's still a working man and he's older than me. That's what happens when you're a musician working for money on the side, perhaps, and it doesn't really build your Social Security that well. And who can live on just Social Security? Yeah, where did Walina bring that out? Anybody answer that question? Because I have forgotten. I can't say off the top of my head what's the sermon date where she reveals the bobblehead. See what I got on that. Do I have still pictures of that? Where's my phone? Didn't I bring the phone over? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Mike Fortner, wow, just now seeing you. Well, you can always watch part of the replay, Mike, not Mark. How are you? Happy New Year. Good to have you here. Yeah, I did. I mentioned that we were going to do Thursday night because we talked about Wednesday night. I got my days wrong, um, but I didn't give it a separate promo. Where it would be very clear, like I will for Saturday. So I got to remember to do that. Carlene Brown, hi Jack from Florida. Oh, what's the temperature where you are, Carlene? I bet it's lovely. We're in a portion now. We had some days in the 50s, but it was usually pouring rain or something. And now we have some light snow, or we did. I can't tell whether it's snowing now, but a little bit of snow on my car and the driveway pavement. Won't stick to the road quite yet. Um, but now, as I look at the 10-day forecast, there's no day above 35 degrees, and a lot of days 29 and stuff like that. Oh, so depressing, so depressing. Love to head to Florida right about now, but that won't be happening. I usually head there in late February because that's when Jimmy Sturr is doing his Florida tour, but I've only ever seen him in Port St. Lucie. He opens up the Strawberry Festival in Plant City, Florida on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And he's done that for years. And then he goes to an Opry outside the Villages. What the heck is that called? He's never played there before, I don't think. I mean, not in recent times. And then Saturday, there's two shows near the Villages, and they're all going to be great. So you should go if you're anywhere near. And then he goes to Port St. Lucie on the first Saturday of March. I've seen him there twice in Port St. Lucie at the Polish Club. At the Polish Club. At that service, Gene Ho did my praise report about my healing from prayer with Bob Joyce in Hot Springs. Was not recorded, though, was before the service. Yeah, that's like, Jimmy Sturr has received 18 Grammy Awards. That's more than Paul McCartney. 18 Grammy Awards. They took away the polka category because it was always Jimmy Sturr winning, which did not make a lot of friends for him with fellow polka musicians. But he got 18 Grammys, but he always received them before the broadcast started. You'd see pictures of him in his tuxedo receiving his award, but it never made air. It never made air. So I know how that feels. I know how that feels. Wear musk oil, or put on. Yeah, that's a good product choice. Elon Musk, a cologne, a musk cologne. Why hasn't he thought of that? I want a cut of that, Elon, if you think of that. that that would obviously work, no doubt about it. Jack, my inkling, haven't used that word in a long time, Jody. Thank you for reminding me how cool of a word inkling is. Has been telling me for a long time. See, it wouldn't be have, because that would mean you'd have two inklings. And I've never met anyone who had two inklings. Or have I? Jack, my inkling has been telling me for a long time now that there is going to be some pretty damning information that will be leaked that will be pretty much prove he is who we think he is. Well, you have a little bit of a different perspective than I have. I don't know what you mean by damning information. Email me what you're talking about. Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. I'd love to hear more of what you think about that, but let's do that privately, where we can talk in more free form and um, Let me get your mindset on that. Um, I always say, as much as I tell this story, and people could say, "Well, you're not helping him stay incognito." Well, I can use the old story about, well, he wouldn't have started an international YouTube channel if he was looking for privacy, because he made himself a public figure when he did that. But there's also the fact that he loves being a small town pastor with an international audience on YouTube. Is he trying to have his cake and eat it too? Maybe. I don't know, but there's God's plan, and I don't want to step on it. So I I know that this is kind of on the edge to justify. It's kind of on the edge. I mean, people say, that you're talking about him staying away from Lisa Marie for years after he came back from getting well in probably a foreign country. That's what it seems to indicate. And not seeing her till she was like 16. You're talking about fans that go every year and weep at his grave. And there's a lot of that. And I understand what you're saying. I understand. What can I say? This is a story. We don't know every part of it. So let's release that book, Pastor Bob Joyce. You can start doing your services every Sunday in Hot Springs, and you can live in Mar-a-Lago for a while, or one of those billionaires that you met when you were down there at Mar-a-Lago with Miss Walina. Why not? You could do that, and you definitely need an assistant pastor, because there needs to be a pastor for your church in Benton, where they would have their midweek services and things like that. But bus the main regulars from Benton to Hot Springs. You can get a lot more people at the Horner Hall Theater, like you were when you did the service that George Magazine put together, Gene Ho, on August 11th. And then Build, Baby, Build. I'm sure President Trump can help you to build, baby, build. uh, the property on the 9 acres. Let's get a 1,500, 2,000 seat sanctuary. That's not really enough. If further news developed, and a beautiful house on there with great security around everything. And sure, that's a way. That's a way to do it. But you want to preach to people. Well, he's already has people that come for one specific reason. But as I always say, that's an opportunity for the Holy Spirit to reach them when they're there. They may come for the wrong reason. Heck, people go to churches because they know they're going to have a coffee and donuts hour. When I started going to Goodwill Church, and I'm going this Saturday night for the first time in a long time, 7 o'clock. So I'm going to be leaving service and then pretty much coming home. And it's in the Hudson Valley, but it's 8, 10, 12 miles up the road. When I first started going to Goodwill, they were in the small chapel church. Because they used to only get like 100 members, to Pastor John Torres came along and started to grow the church leaps and bounds. Oh, they'd have a lovely spread down in the fellowship hall. They'd have bagels and muffins and coffee and fruit salad and yogurt, et cetera, because there were so many services, because he was growing the church. There was the 8, there was the 9:30, there was the 11:30. Then he added a 2 p.m. and then he added a Saturday night at 7 p.m. and that became very popular. So the 7 p.m. service still exists, even though he has a much bigger church next door now. And he does 2 services on Sunday in the big church, and they still do special services in the small chapel as well. So, they had it all. So people came, to have a nice breakfast, but then they went to church there, and whatever reason you go when you get in there, and if it's Pastor John, you're going to hear a wonderful message, a wonderful gospel message. He's a verse by verse preacher, but of course he ad libs around it, and it's great. I heard the book is about all of his sermons for others to enjoy after he is gone, hoping It's more as well. Yeah, yeah. I haven't heard that one, Cristari. That can be a book. That's fine, but that can't be the first book out. That, you know, you really want to. If there's a record to set straight, if there's a story to tell, um, get that property developed and tell it. That would be my feeling, and you'll have to have a lot of people working for you, but or volunteering too. And Shelley says, "Hi there, Gene Ho and family." Well, if he's here, he's not letting me know. Um, he is Spitfire, isn't he? He's a Spitfire. He likes to have fun with the topic too, as does Pastor himself. Many times, Pastor Bob has been the inspiration for a particular topic that we have done. Obviously, the video Bob Joyce, Bob Joyce, Bob Joyce, Bob Joyce calls himself Elvis. We show a video clip uh, in that video from me. Um, you know, uh, that was a slip up. That wasn't a hint. That was a blatant slip up when he was supposed to be saying something like, "Well, Bob, that's not right," as he's talking about something like that. And he says Elvis instead of Bob. And then you get these, especially when we do these videos like the five more compelling reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. We get people that don't watch us at all, you know, and they just love to tear me apart, or the people like yourselves that may be commenting and saying how stupid we are and this, that, and they give the same old reasons. Oh, well, a DNA test would prove everything. Yeah, your point. Bob is not going to want to do that. We're not going to then get Elvis DNA from Riley Keough. What? It's not as brilliant as a point as you think it is. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So forget the DNA, okay? You don't think he's old enough. Okay, we've covered it. I can't do any better than that. Maybe you're right. Maybe our possibilities will turn out to be wrong. But I'll tell you what, we'd have to call in 10 fire companies because of all the smoke surrounding this fire. Fire. There's lots of fire. Anybody say fire like that's here today? Oh, Nancy, 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 and Aisha Acevedo. I will stick to my own germs, huh? Okay. Obviously, I'm coming in the middle of a conversation then. So that's a kind of a look at the analytics of the channel. But thank you for December. I don't think I finished that story. My mind wanders to something else after after you add it all up, including Cash App, Media Guy 56, Media Guy 56. Um, when you add that all up, I think December was our most successful month. It beat July, and it certainly beat the decline that started in September. Started in September and was a little bit less. So although the final amount for December was lower, it was made up by Cash App. And so you know who you are, you people that hit the Cash App, and I'm very, very grateful that we made the budget. That's all we're trying to do is make a budget. We're working on February now, and that will be tax month where I'm going to have to pay tax on tips. Tax on tips. Yes, not tax tips. No, I don't give tax tips out here because I have I have back a second grade math level, so you probably wouldn't want me giving you tax tips, but I'll be meeting with my tax person in February. Yeah, baby. So there you go. Jill, I thought that someone told me that you moved to Botswana. And I said, why would pretty Jill, and she's very pretty and her husband is very handsome, why would pretty Jill move to Botswana? She's been to Household of Faith and she's back here with us tonight. Welcome back, Jill. Had to put our pit bull down this evening. I'm sad, very sad. Yes. Was he sick or did he become a mass murderer? It's just the reputation they have, you know. Usually it is not deserved, but it can be. There have been those incidents that come to mind. You probably had him for a while, huh? So I'm very sorry to hear about that. He was 15. Wow. I've never heard of a pit bull living to 15. That's a pretty good run, I guess, for a pit bull. Did he smoke and drink? That could be it. Yeah. That's what'll get you. Yeah, we had to put our 26-year-old cat Hazel down. Wonderful cat. That would have been probably in 2023, you know. She just couldn't walk anymore and what have you. Karen took care of her like, she would a nursing home patient and extended her life that way, buying the wee pads and all that, and putting them on top of the couch because that's where Hazel liked to be. And so that went on for a long time. Hazel is still with us in the living room. Her ashes marked Hazel and a picture of her. But she was a cat with a lot of personality, just like her husband, Herb, who passed away before her. Herb was, I think, my favorite cat. He lived also to a ripe old age, maybe 22, 23. And he seemed like he could say the word yeah, because his voice was so hoarse at 22, 23. He'd come looking for cat food, and I knew that he had just eaten. I'd say, "Now, Herb, you already had a can of cat food just about an hour ago, didn't you?" And he'd go, "Yeah, yeah." I thought, well, you're being so honest. I will give you another. I will give you another. Yes. You have the cremains of 3 past cats myself. Yeah, they become someone very special. Jack, I say that because the information will be leaked from one of his family members who is fed up with all of the lambasting from all the people who don't believe he's still alive. Okay, well, I know when I hear it's funny that your last name is Smith, Jody, because it's the Smiths that seem to really hate me, you know? Um, I can't say for sure that Billy Smith hates me, but, he obviously is telling a different story than I am. Gene Smith was the one who you can see this in our I think it's part 2 of the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. We roll in the Bill Bixby several clips. We roll in that particular video, but one is from Gene Smith, cousin of Elvis. I think that would be Billy Smith's cousin as well. Boy, am I freezing in here now. What does it drop to? It's 30. Feels cooler. But I have no heat because I've locked it off, and I'm not going to put on the other heater, the electric heater. But we had another Smith last weekend, and I was willing to engage him and talk to him, but he just goes right to being nasty and telling one of our viewers here that Well, you probably believe in unicorns too. W- Why not try to have a conversation, talk it out a little bit? I'm not looking to block you. I'm willing to talk to you, but you've got to come on and be, follow the YouTube guidelines, be respectful, and we'll talk. We'll talk. Elvis was raised in the Pentecostal faith, baptized twice as such, and once by the Latter day Saints, now possibly preaching non denomination. Well, the Latter day Saints is not a Christian faith, Greg. As much as I love the Osmonds, and that leads me to say, rest in peace, Wayne Osmond, who died at 73 years old today. I saw the Osmonds perform live several times, all of them there, from Jimmy to Marie to, obviously Alan and Merrill, the lead singer, and of course, the sensation of the world, still to this day in Las Vegas, Donny Osmond. And Jay Osmond, the drummer at that time, he's still very active out there on Facebook. And they were just fantastic. But in the last few verses of the Bible, we see anyone who adds to uh, these words or takes from them, God will add to them the plagues that are written in this book. So a second testament of Jesus Christ, therefore, would not be possible. Would not be possible. The Mormons have a lot of different beliefs, but I would never try to play God here and say that because, you know, I mean, someone like Donny Osmond was brought into the Mormonism, to the Latter Day Saints faith from toddler stage, and I believe he loves God, and I believe he's wrong in his beliefs, but I believe he loves Jesus Christ, and so I place that in God's hands. I'm not his. I'm not his jury, especially when you've been indoctrinated since day one. One hip chick. Hello, Jack and family. It's so good to see you here. It's so good to see you here. Um, it's been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 67 watching right now. Donny Osmond seems like a nice guy. Well, he was a huge teen idol, and those older ladies now just love him in Las Vegas. And, they bring their husbands, of course. And Donny puts on a great show. I've seen some clips, and he did the show for 11 years in Vegas with Marie. And then she said, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of living in Las Vegas. Kind of hot in Las Vegas, But yeah, he's still a sensation. Still a sensation. I guess you'd have to say right now that he's Mr. Las Vegas. Now, I know that Adele has a Vegas residency, but she's very limited in how many times she's there, whereas Donnie is there a lot. When Wayne Newton was Mr. Las Vegas, he was doing, I don't know, 35, 40 weeks a year in Las Vegas at least. So that's, yeah, I just said that, Chili. Wayne Osmond did pass away. Rest in peace. He had a massive stroke, and it wasn't the first one. He had one in 2012, and other health issues before that. They say he was just a wonderful, non-judgmental man, and so I hope he goes straight into the hands of God, because as the scripture says, Jesus says, I will have mercy on who I want to have mercy on. He looks at the heart. He looks at the heart. But I am in no way endorsing the Latter-day Saints religion. I don't believe it's a Christian faith at all. Joseph Smith was found to be a perjurer. The founder of the faith was found to be a perjurer in a trial. He said he knew multiple languages and what have you, and had found these golden plates by the prophet Moroni. On and on and on. I disavow it. I do. Did Wayne Newton ever top 50 attendees at his concerts, Ted Richards says. Um, Now or then? 50? Is this a joke, Ted Richards? Didn't you see how popular he was when you watched the movie Vegas Vacation? He was great in that. He was great in that. Yeah, you're the one who doesn't like Wayne Newton, right? Well, that's okay. There's people I wouldn't I don't care to see Adele and she's not my era. There's never been an Adele song that I said, "Oh my God, that's wonderful." I respect her vocal range and all that, but she's not my cup of tea. Yeah, he packed the house, Jill. You're right about that. For many, many years, that's how he became Mr. Las Vegas. He's still there. It doesn't quite look the same, does he? And he's in a very small theater, but it's got his picture out front, and people still go to see Wayne Newton there. He came to Sugarloaf. I've got a Wayne Newton video up. You can see it. One or two videos up on Wayne Newton here. And so he had two hits, Donka Shane, and then in the 70s, Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast. When he was young, he had a song I kind of sort of liked. Yeah, he's an acquired taste, but the ladies loved him. He went from being a chubby kid who, when you first heard him on the radio, thought it was a woman, to a more macho man. And I read on Elvis' page on Facebook, an Elvis page, that Riley Keough will not be hosting Elvis's 90th birthday party. Didn't say much, but are we in for a surprise? Susan A. Where are you watching from, Susan A? Sue A. Sue A. Where are you watching from? I like Wayne Newton in that movie, National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation. Yeah, of course. It was a hoot. Randy Quaid had a lot to do with that, and of course, Mr. Chevy Chase and Al Pacino's, the mother of one of Al Pacino's children, Beverly D'Angelo, was fantastic, singing with Wayne and literally hitting the high note in the late Minnie Riperton song "Lovin' You" that they sang as a duet. And then they crashed into Wayne's house with the tour bus. You're in Rhode Island. Oh, we were in Newport a few years ago. We went to Collinwood. We had to see the beautiful mansions there. And we saw what the heck is it called now? I remember it. I forget it. I remember. I forget it. What do they call the house that they use for the exterior of Collinwood on Dark Shadows? Um, I know what it is. I just can't think of it at the moment. But we were right outside of it. We took pictures. The gate was open. We could have walked in, but there were signs encouraging us not to do that. Not to do that. Still, rabid fans rush onto the lawn, snap a picture, and run out. They do. And it's right by the water there in Newport, Rhode Island. And we walked around a lot of the multi-million dollar castles there where the gates were open. Most of them had a no trespassing sign, but it was very mellow. Didn't see a single cop. Jay Leno has just bought a house there. I read on the Elvis page. Yeah, what did I say? Yeah, right. Okay, I read that. So yeah, so Minnie Riperton actually did a song on her last album talking about how she was afraid of death. Try to find that. I don't know what it was called. You are originally from Newport. I see. Well, we found the trick was to go in September when there's a motel on the outskirts of town in Newport that is not far from the Walmart, up the hill from the Walmart, and the rates go way down in September. So that's when we went, because we couldn't afford and we don't want to pay $300, $400, $500 a night for a hotel room. I certainly can't afford that now. 2024 was the year where my pension diminished more than it had previously, dividing it more. Oh, okay. Now I know that you are Susan Ashhook. That's not right. Yeah, Ashhook. Right. Okay. Now I know who you are, Sue. It threw me. I thought you might have been Runaround Sue for a minute there. Thing about Sue is I've heard that Sue goes out with other guys. Imagine that. Gregory Hines saw Wayne Newton as a teen on Bonanza playing a younger singer the other day. So, the Elvis Wayne Newton story, they met more than once, was he had never met Elvis Presley, and he was backstage getting ready to do his show, surrounded by some of his staff, and sneaking up behind him is Elvis Presley, who taps him on the shoulder. And Wayne spins around and says, "Oh my God, Elvis, I'm such a fan." And they exchanged, pleasantries. And then Elvis asked him, "Are you dating?" I wish I could remember the name. "Are you dating Sandy so and so?" No, he didn't say it that way. He says, "Do you know Sandy so and so?" And Wayne Newton says, "Oh, yes, I do. And in fact, we're dating." And Elvis said, "Yeah, we're dating too." Who's going to win that contest, right? They had a good laugh over that. That's the Wayne Newton Elvis story that comes to mind. And Jill is mentioning Sandy Duncan from my past. Now, I just heard the phone over here, so obviously I must have it. I just buried it, I've buried my phone. It's right in front of me. This is why I say I'll soon be tied to a chair with an alarm at the nurse's station. Got to tell you something that happened the other night that terrified me. Sandy Duncan played Peter Pan. She played a boy on Broadway, right? Was it a movie? 2? That ought to tell you that you're not Dolly Parton when you can play Peter Pan. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough tape in the world. Oh, Shelley hitting the thanks button for $2. The first one. Do I want to say this? I think the first one of 2025. You are the very first one, Shelley, to hit the thanks button in our new year. And I thank you very, very much. So why did you mention Sandy Duncan? I remember her well. She used to do a lot of the talk shows, and she had a show, the Sandy Duncan Show, right? It's hard to remember, but I remember her as a pleasant little woman with blonde, short hair, and who had a degree of success. Saw Love Me Tender yesterday morning at 5 a.m. Elvis' debut movie, 21 years old. Wow. Yeah. See, I was never a big movie fan, but I ought to watch a few. Who's Larry Hagman's mom? Ted Richards, not Sandy Duncan. That doesn't sound right, but there is a famous mom that Larry Hagman has, right? Joe Mann. Hi, Jack. God bless you. Well, God bless you, Joe Mann. Where are you from? Where are you watching us tonight? Mary Martin was Hagman's mother. Got it. See, Jill, you just know your stuff. Now, tell me more about Sandy Duncan, because I can't remember too much that she did other than Peter Pan. That was her signature role. I guess it was, I know it was on Broadway, but did she do both Broadway and was there a movie? I can't remember now. Yeah, Peter Pan. That's not the only time that, a male character has been played by a woman. What are some others? Can you think of some others? Hello, Vic Practice Tracks. Mary Martin was the first Peter Pan musical on TV years ago. She was the first Peter Pan? Really? So this is always being played? Peter is always a woman? That's very interesting. I think she and Wayne Newton dated. Yeah, well, he certainly played the field, Wayne, after he started to become the macho type with a little pencil mustache and what have you that he had for a while. He liked to smoke the cigars, though. I don't know if he stopped that. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. He wasn't a cigar smoker, and in Vegas vacation, they said we think it would be really cool if Wayne you would smoke a cigar, you know, as you're going through the casino with your security around you, and you give the wave. I think it'd be great if you'd be puffing on a cigar. And so he, of course, was willing to do whatever they want because he was thrilled to be in what he knew was going to be a huge hit motion picture. Um, and he said it almost choked him to death. He just, I guess he made the mistake of inhaling said cigar. You don't inhale your cigar smoke, you blow it out. You blow it out so everybody around you can cough. It's a lot of fun. I do it every summer in the gazebo, and I try not to blow it. If Karen comes out, I don't light up when she's there. But if I'm in the process and I only smoke like one, two, three a month in certain months of the year, haven't smoked one in months now because I don't smoke in the winter. But one or two, three, I love my Dutch Masters. I roll it in honey. I pour some honey on a plate and I roll my cigar in honey. And it's like I just feel like for a moment I'm Donald Trump or Elon Musk sitting there, celebrating the warm, beautiful weather. Don't tell me about how you love winter. Oh, go to Nome, Alaska then. I want my spring back. But when we do have to wait for it, it's such a wonderful gift as we see the creation of God. It's died and now it's coming back in a big, powerful way, and the air starts to smell nice. And I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirts again and my shorts because I wear shorts every single day unless I'm going to church or some event where I should be wearing long pants. And it's just that way, it's just that way. 72 watching right now, 43 likes. Sue says, anyone remember a name of an 80s show Sandy Duncan was in? That's what I was trying to think of. And then someone new from Canada, chilling in Canada. Yeah, you're definitely chilling in Canada. The Hogan family, really? The Hogan family? Or are you talking about the Hogan family was an Australian show with Paul Hogan, or who's the other Hogan? Hulk Hogan, of course. Wasn't that a reality show? So there's two things I want to tell you. One that's funny, and one that scared the hell out of me. And that's a good thing to have the hell scared out of you. But the funny thing is, if you don't mind a little blue language, thankfully, no Lord's name in vain. The comedian identifies himself as a Scottish Presbyterian, and he seems to make some faith references. But the language is somewhat blue because he's having fun with the woke people and the XYZ crowd and the millennials. He's 62 years old now, and I'm talking about the brand new special just released on Tubi by former late night host Craig Ferguson. So I see, okay, Craig Ferguson has a special. I like him, but I watched one of his earlier specials for a while, and I didn't think it was that funny. But he's such an endearing chap, Craig Ferguson, such a pleasant, interesting guy, and I love the way he used to interact with guests. A lot of personality. I said, well, I'll watch for a few minutes. He walked out on that stage in Minneapolis to tape this special. He had them 5 seconds into the act, and there wasn't 1 second where he didn't have them in the palm of his hand. He had me sitting in my recliner saying, I have never seen Craig Ferguson this funny. He talked about having COVID twice, his UTI infection, and eye infection, going through that, all the steps of everything this poor man went through. He does it in a hilarious fashion, and he takes jabs at the XYZ and the woke people and what have you. Tubi is a free app if you don't mind a little F word and stuff like that in there. Um, he is hilarious from the moment he hits the stage to the moment he leaves. And he tells, because a lot of people remember him from his late night show and loved it with his with his uh with his Ed McMahon, which was a skeleton whose name was Jeff, right? Jeff the skeleton. Uh, he said that he took himself out of that gig. They didn't fire him. He said he just got to the point where he just doing it every day, every day. Um, but he says he misses it. He misses interacting. He enjoyed doing the show, but this everyday thing, after years, started to become a real strain. He replaced what's his name there, who does the car karaoke, I think, that guy. Whatever it was. Maybe it wasn't him, it was somebody else. But then I just read that he is in talks in Los Angeles to return to late night. And let me tell you, he's a whole lot funnier and endearing than the likes of Stephen Colbert, who used to be hilarious when he did his Comedy Central. We knew that he was spoofing the conservatives, but conservatives are not like the woke people. They're not like the progressives. We don't mind if it's a good intent joke. We don't mind laughing at it. We know Trump isn't perfect. We know we're not perfect, and we can laugh. We're from that generation. If we're not in the XYZ crowd, although there are many exceptions to that, there's many wonderful XYZs. So I just wanted to tell you that if you want to laugh and laugh and laugh, watch the new Craig Ferguson special on Tubi. It's called "I'm So Happy." I'm so happy, and he is working out a deal. It's easy if you don't want to be on 5 days a week. Merv Griffin was on 5 days a week. He didn't work a 5-day week. We all knew that if the best chance of seeing Merv when I lived out in Hollywood was to go on Wednesday, because he would tape one show at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then he'd tape another show at 7. And that means he was never working 5 days of taping. Never. And now all the other shows are 4 days, not Greg Gutfeld, but he's not really late night now that he's on at 10 o'clock. I would have left him right at 11. That's where he should be. So there you go. It was a lot of fun to watch Craig Ferguson. We're talking food, are we? Jody, you are making me very hungry. That's right. Jody tends to tell us what she's having, and it's not usually the most heart-healthy stuff, We have one week Jody's at the Waffle House watching us. The next week she's at Denny's. He's got a funny line about Denny's, Craig Ferguson, in his special. Let's see. Teresa Lee Leonard. Hello, Jack and everyone. Hi, how are you? Chilling in Canada. Yes, I lived in Montreal for 6 months. So that 6 months in Montreal changed my entire life. Still to this day, majorly affected by my 6 months in Montreal. I just want to see. I worked at CBS Columbia Square, Sunset Boulevard. Oh, I've been there, Joe, man. Did I see it? James Dean worked there as a parking lot attendant. Well, I was there in, say, 79. I saw a taping of the Mike Douglas show there. Mike Douglas ended, he was in, Philadelphia for years and years and years. And then he moved to Television City in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. Have I got the right one? CBS Television City, is that the one you worked at? Columbia Square? See, that throws me. I know about Sunset Boulevard. Lord knows I did a lot of things on Sunset Boulevard, including watching the Hollywood Parade, Christmas time parade, which was held in the evening with beautiful lights. I met Glenn Campbell on Sunset Boulevard at KMPC. No, it was the other one. They were having a Christmas party. Their guest was Glenn Campbell. and it was outside, and so I walked up, and Glenn Campbell comes out with the rest of the regalia, and I'm just kind of staring at him, because he's one of my favorites. He was one of my favorites, and at some point, he walks over, extends his huge hand, and says, "Merry Christmas." And I said, "Merry Christmas, Mr. Campbell. I love your music. You're a legend." That's what I said. He couldn't have been nicer. Couldn't have been nicer. Of course, he was doing a public appearance. Um, so there you go. Yeah, a lot of fun memories for me in Hollywood, West Hollywood, Joe Man, and some things that are not going to be repeated here. I did work a lot of security posts in West Hollywood. I was on set with the Village People in Can't Stop the Music in West Hollywood. I don't know where we were, but it was their one and only movie, Can't Stop the Music. And I think that movie kind of stopped the music, at least more music coming out. They didn't stay together for a while, but of course they always come back when they realize there's money to be made. People will always want to hear the YMCA. And the current Village People, I don't think, contain any original members. But they're looking to sing for Trump. They want to sing YMCA. They said that's something we'd have to consider when they were asked if they would do that. Oh, yes, that's something we'd have to consider. I bet you would. The lead singer, the black lead singer, said that, who dresses up like a cop. And so I was on set there with the Village People and Valerie Perrine. Anybody remember Valerie Perrine? Then there was this gentleman. I don't know what happened to him. I don't hear about him anymore. I don't think he died, though. Bruce Jenner was his name. Bruce Jenner. I was just security. I didn't talk to these people, I was just a security guy. He was standing there with probably Valerie or whatever. And I said, "Oh, yes, I know. Great, how do you say it? Decathlon winner? Am I saying that right? Wonderful athlete, Bruce Jenner. Whatever happened to him?" I loved his reality show. He made that show. I kind of watched the Kardashians when he was on because I always enjoyed him. Yeah. Glenn Campbell, if you're still within the sound of my voice, sounds like you might have had a crush, huh? Yeah, Tanya Tucker and him were together for a long time. That was when Glenn was in his drinking and coking days, I'm afraid. He lost something, Jack. Who lost something? Did they check the lost and found? I'm not sure to which you refer and what you mean. Honey, organic with high GMO. Oh, we get honey from the bee man in Maybrook Honey. He's not on the web. I checked that. But, it's very important, apparently, to buy honey from where you live, from where the local bees pollinate. That's better honey to have. But everybody, Suzanne Summers, everything they sell is organic, organic peppermint cream. What? I love the peppermint cream. I got it for Christmas. Karen gave it to me, and she gave me the Ancestry DNA kit. So I got to do it. I got to send off my saliva, I guess, huh? It's a lot better than that colon test where you send off, well, No, I'll go for a colonoscopy. I want to be sure. Sue just watched an old clip of Mike Douglas. He was a legend. Used to watch him a lot. Loved Mike Douglas. Yes. Oh, I see now. Now I got your joke. He Bruce Jenner lost something. Yeah, and that shows commitment. I have to say I'm not saying what he did was right, but I think I'm comfortable with Bruce Jenner going into the ladies' room. If you've got that kind of commitment, I think it's okay. Because just because, leave it at that. What's the Bruce? What's the Glenn Campbell song from the '80s? Which song do you refer? Really? There is a Glenn Campbell song called "If You're Still Within the Sound of My Voice." I'll have to check that out on Spotify. Then he did contemporary Christian music that I played on the Sound of Life Radio Network for a while. It's a great song called "Jesus and Me." That's a good one. Check that out. Yeah, that's commitment there. That's when you can do that. I got to say, you're all in. You're all in. What happens now is, you know, and we're going to put an end to this nonsense is we allow our children to be chemically castrated in some states without parental consent. To me, that is if there was ever a felony that should be, a lawmaker should be hit with, that's it right there. And then 2 days later, they change their mind and want to change back. Too late. Oh my goodness. That is that is the ultimate atrocity of adults on children. That's child abuse, pure and simple. Ah, dear, dear, dear. I liked Highwayman. The Highwayman. Glenn he did with Willie, Chris, and Waylon, but Glenn wasn't a highwayman. It was Waylon, Willie, Chris Christopherson, and who else? Not Roy Orbison. He was in the other one with Dylan and whatever. I get confused. I had a crush on Bruce Jenner. Yeah, he was a good-looking man. Why not? Oh, I won't say that, Shelley. No, let's not say that. But it was sad the way things happened. You know, it was difficult for his family and what have you. I don't really have a lot of sympathy for that family, you know, but nevertheless, it was sad. You're saying, Susan, that Shelley had a kid with Elvis's ex-girlfriend, Linda Thompson? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, there's been something else about Linda Thompson I've been meaning to comment on, and I can't think of it right now. All right, Ted Richards, I'll have to find that. But in terms of the Highwaymen, he was not a regular member. It doesn't mean he couldn't have sang with them, though. I mean, he sang with everybody. Oh, you want to see something amusing? Before I tell you the thing that scared the hell out of me. Sting, have you seen this reel on Facebook? Sting is sitting in the audience of this black tie event watching Jose Feliciano sing "Every Breath You Take." And Jose has a reputation for trying to bring his own style. That's why he did "Light My Fire" in a whole different way than Jim Morrison and the Doors did it. And he did it successfully. And of course, we all love Feliz Navidad. That's, you know, but he thought he would try to be innovative in "Every Breath You Take." And the expression on Sting's face, his eyes are literally watering as Jose Feliciano seems to go off into the abyss of vocal risk taking and phrasing of a song to ruin every breath you take. It's very funny if you haven't seen it. Of course, Johnny Cash was the other. Thank you, Ted Richards. There you are, Johnny Cash. Exactly. I knew it, but again, it was lost in one of those files that that I need to take Gingo Biloba to find. Ring of Fire. Yes, I hear that every time I go to a Jimmy Sturr event that Chris Caffrey is at. They do Ring of Fire, and there were so many great Johnny Cash songs. What can we say? I looked it up, Jack. I will admit it. I will admit what? finish your sentence. Good song, Shelley, says Sue. Yeah. Well, you guys, you know your music. I only get local honey. That's right, Cindy. Get that honey that the bees have been buzzing around playing the game they like to play with the alligator. Where they come real close to his mouth and they zip away. They zip away. Get that honey. Yeah. So, Jack, your DNA will tell you you're from a family of kings. It's like when these mediums, go into past life transgression, that you've paid for them to do. They're not going to tell you once were a chambermaid at the Howard Johnson's, or, you were an inmate down at Rikers Island. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you you were the king of this village or this country in Europe, and you had 5 wives, and etc. etc. Two kids to Linda Thompson. Well, why that? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm a Sting fan. I laughed hard at his reaction to that performance. So you saw that, Todd Bradshaw. Wasn't that hilarious? Now, I have seen Jose Feliciano live right here at the Orange County Community College when he was in his prime. And then he went to a bar on Montgomery Street called at the time Tony's. It's now, they just made it into an apartment. But Tony's, after the show, Jose wanted to have a drink, so he said to his people in the van, he said, "Well, somebody go in there and see what kind of a place it is. See, that'd be a good place." And everything looked fine. It was fairly quiet, so he went into Tony's and had a drink in there, And I'm sure everybody was happy to see him. So I saw him in his prime. He made a little fun of my ex-boss cousin Brucey, like, I can have a record get played without the help of cousin Brucey or something. Well, Light My Fire is really your only big hit, and that was obviously played on WABC. So what's your point, buddy? What's your point? But he was good, but I could tell he was full of himself. But this man has no sight, and that's a real tough thing. And so I'm not saying I wasn't a fan, but you're right. The reaction on Sting's face as he is singing "Every Breath You Take" is hilarious. It's pure hilarious. So I'm glad you saw that, Todd. There's some really good ones on Facebook, and then there's those sad ones. Anytime I think I can complain about this, that, or the other, um, I just have to see what some of these people with catastrophic illnesses are going through on Facebook. Got to wind it down soon. Almost 2 hours here. Neo, classic background. Really? My background? I'm always trying to match, the best I can. I got to get some new throws. Yes, Johnny Cash, right. He was way off key. I guess you could say that, right? He was way off key. Hats off to the other musicians on the stage that were keeping pace with him, or trying to, right? Yeah. It was just, it was a sight to behold. It was a sight to behold. Sometimes you see someone, do I want to say this about one of my favorite singers? The beautiful Marilyn McCoo, who I saw along with her husband Billy Davis in Poughkeepsie in 2005. Just one of the greatest voices ever. Well, she's in her 80s now, the hair is light, and Billy looks pretty old, and she's going to do one less spell to answer. And she's straining. She's straining in some spots, and you can see she's trying to compensate for what she can't do anymore by singing louder. And you're not sure she's going up there, and you're not sure if she's going to be able to even out the plane, but she does. But it's not what I heard in 2005. It doesn't last forever. But then there's that moment where she's Marilyn McCoo, just like you remember her for a little bit. Wonderful. And we got to visit with her and Billy. This goes to my second marriage. We went to the concert and we got to visit, and we had them sign stuff that they were selling, of course, and it was a wonderful experience. They came out to this church with a lot of seats, Faith Assembly of God, and so they're not going to do Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In. They're not going to do Sweet Blindness About Getting Drunk or One Stone Picnic, which happens to be one of my favorite Fifth Dimension songs. But they're going to do Up, Up and Away, and they're going to do Gonna Marry Me, Bill, and Billy just sits there saying no, 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 and tries to run away when she's singing that. And then she, of course, there comes a time when he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Marilyn McCoo." She sits down and he sits down and she sings One Less Bell to Answer, and then goes into Last Night. Last night I didn't get to sleep at all. Oh, oh, yeah. But One Less Spell is her biggest solo hit. And so I saw her doing that, and it was different, but it was still great to see her. That happens as big voice people. Hasn't happened to Tom Jones yet. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Night to you all. We're going to be wrapping up soon too. Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon in the movie. Well, those are all interesting people. Marilyn Monroe, known as a very difficult actress to work with, always late, had a lot of health issues, complainer. Tony Curtis, no man has ever been more narcissistic than Tony Curtis. Loved himself. Probably his best part of the day was looking in the mirror, but also a lot of fun and a good actor, et cetera, et cetera. Jack Lemmon is a cut above both of them. He was supreme. He was the top of the heap, king of the pack. Jack Lemmon was something beyond talented, beyond talented. Miss him so much. Like Walter Matthau, but even in a higher range than Walter Matthau, because as great as Walter was, and they were partners in a number of movies, Jack could do things he couldn't. He wouldn't be able to pull off as much, and Jack was better looking. Good night, Julie. Julie, 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 do you love me? Jack Lemmon. Yeah, loved him. Never met him, but I loved him. I love that movie with James Gardner, the late James Gardner, where they play ex-presidents. Very, very good. All right, let me tell you the story that was not good is that not last night, the night before, we had dinner, and Karen is in the kitchen. I always do the dishes and everything like that. I'm sitting in my recliner, and I hear a blood-curdling scream. And I bolted from that recliner as fast as I could, and I found Karen has fallen into the plastic garbage can. She's hit her head, top of her head, and I rushed over there, and it was one of these moments when it reinforces how much you love somebody, and you see what's happened to them. And fortunately, praise God, nothing lasting. She didn't really even seem to have a bump on her head. But I helped her up, and I'm not supposed to lift, so she said, "You can't do that." Andy had gone to take the trash downstairs, and now she was blocking him from getting back in. He could have went around to the front, but she was able to get herself back up. And we got her sitting down, and she seems okay. But this is the thing, that as you get into your 60s and beyond, you have to worry about losing your balance. You're on a bunch of medications, and God forbid. I thought when I heard that scream that she had thought to take the trash out herself. I should have realized Andy had done that, and that she had fallen down the back stairs onto the hard pavement. So I was freaking out. But she's okay, praise God. And it's just like you got to watch out for each other as you get older. Think about what you're doing. Don't get up fast. Get up slow. Get up slow and think about things. Love that movie, The China Syndrome. Sure. Jack Lemmon, absolutely. And The Prisoner on 42nd Street. I don't think I saw that one. I want to see Save the Tiger again. I want to see that one. Lara Parker from Dark Shadows is in that movie, and others. So, and that's Jack Lemmon being how he really was in real life in that movie. I think I got the right one. Is that the one where he was a drunk? Jack Lemmon admitted that in that movie he was playing himself, and so it was extremely difficult. When they put him in a straitjacket, it was extremely difficult. He almost lost it in that movie. Let me see here. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. Um, and look at that, Todd Bradshaw here, hitting the Cash App for $20 for a Sting T-shirt fund. I love that. Well, Sting is great. What can I say? In so many songs, with the police and without the police. Thank you, Todd Bradshaw, for hitting the Cash App again for $20. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. And look at other emails. Nancy has got something on Gene Ho. I'll check that out. Mike Ray is watching live. Very, very good. Very, very good. Thank you so much, Todd. And back to the live stream. Thank you again, Shelley in Canada, for hitting the thanks button for $2. As we work on February now, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Just about ready to wrap it up. Happy New Year to you, one hip chick. And 1979, Jane Fonda. Oh, yes, of course. She was in the China Syndrome. Absolutely. I can separate her from her political views, you know. The fact that that she is almost like a communist in her views does not mean I cannot appreciate her incredible performance in On Golden Pond with her father, Henry Fonda. When it get to the point where she's having this one-on-one with her dad and she's reciting dialogue that she always wanted to say to him. Like, I always thought we were mad at each other and stuff like that. Henry Fonda in the scene was not supposed to, as she's reciting this dialogue, put his head down like he did. But he was overcome with emotion, you know. Very special scene because they were never that close. So let's end with the word of God. Put on my $1.25 readers from the Dollar Tree. Open to Psalms. This is how we feel sometimes. Psalm 10. Why do you stand afar? Why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide in times of trouble? Have you felt like that? Lest those who trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. That was the end of Psalm 13. Psalm 17, a prayer of David. Hear a just cause, O Lord. Attend to my cry. This is the murderer, adulterer talking, David. There's the grace of God there. Give ear to my prayer, which is not from deceitful lips. Let my vindication come from your presence. Let your eyes look on the things that are upright. You have tested my heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me and have found nothing. I have purposed that my mouth shall not transgress concerning the works of men, but by the word of your lips I have kept away from the paths of the destroyer. Uphold my steps in your paths, that my footsteps may not slip. Part of Psalm 17. Psalm 17. Hi, D. Lyle, by the way. I didn't say hello to you. I think he was here, right? To be 110% honest, I have a little bit of double vision right now. I get that once in a while. I'll go down and splash my face with water. I'll take my blood pressure, but that probably won't be an issue. I'll take my blood pressure medicine. In fact, I will take it right now. Do I have it here? Or is it? Yeah. I will take it right now. I'm a Toperol. Twice a day. So thank you, everyone. Jimmy Stewart, like Jack Lemmon, something far above a great actor in another realm, another realm. That's all I can say. There are just certain actors like that. Burt Reynolds was not one of them, but he was still a good actor that we enjoyed so much. See the difference, though, what I'm meaning? That kind of thing. Selena's here. Happy New Year, Selena. M, watch the replay if you can. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Appreciate that so much. And I'll talk to you Saturday night at 10 p.m. East Coast time, Lord willing. Going to go to church at 7 o'clock and then come here to the studio. I'm going to go potty right now. Have a great Friday, everybody. Big God bless you. Bye-bye.